Videl. Videl is a human-type Earthling better known as the daughter of the world-famous Mr. Satan and his previous spouse, Miguel. She later married into the Sun family by marrying son Gohan, who gave birth to their firstborn, Pan. Born as Mr. Satan's daughter, Videl grew up learning martial arts, hoping to be as great as her father. In fact, unknown to herself, she was already better and stronger than him. On May 7, age 767, Videl eventually won in the junior division of the 24th Tenka-Ichi Budōkai at the age of 11. At some point in the past, her mother left their family, and they have got loads of servants. Personality. Videl first appeared as a calculating, fearless, stern, tough, and brash young woman with a strong sense of direction. Raised by her father, better known as his stage name Mr. Satan. In her youth, under a different standard than normal teenagers, Videl highlighted various leadership skills in her methods of handling affairs with other adults. As a trusted crime-fighting vigilante in the new christened Satan City, sheltered under the belief that her father was the hero of the planet, thus increasing her to have a heightened assertion in her martial arts skills. She fancies herself a hero of justice in Satan City, and works of her own accord with the police force to take down criminals, showing an intolerance to crime and corruption. Headstrong and independent, Videl is far from meek, and is more than willing to stand up to even the likes of Gohan and hardened criminals when the need arises. Selflessly enough to place herself into danger, even though it doesn't involve her, the woman was well acclimated to the status of celebrity, and earned the respect of the people who knew her and her father. Despite her seemingly noble nature, Videl has shown she isn't above manipulating others to fall into her desires, and even used blackmail to accomplish her desires, threatening to reveal Gohan's status as the Great Saiyaman should he not enter the Tenka-Ichi Budōkai. After becoming Gohan's wife, Videl mellowed out considerably, becoming calmer and acting more caring and motherly. She rarely displays her fiery vibe that was frequent in her teenage years, except when provoked, such as when Barry Karn showed pictures of Coco Amiguri kissing Gohan and pretended to console her. She lashed out at him and called him pathetic, also insisting that there must have been a reason for that to happen. This is an example of her faith for her husband since she knew that he wouldn't cheat on her, and she was able to figure out Barry's plan to tear apart their marriage, further demonstrating her intelligence that she showed as a teenager when she quickly deduced that Gohan was not only the Great Saiyaman but that his father was Son Goku due to them sharing the same surname. Appearance. In spite of being a physically strong, tough fighter, Videl possesses delicate and slender features that make her attractive in the conventional sense. She has pale skin, vivid blue eyes, and dark black hair that has changed style several times throughout the series. Her initial appearance was feminine with a tomboyish streak. She wore her black hair tied in pigtails, and was depicted wearing a long white t-shirt that went past her waist, black biking shorts, purple socks, and orange strapped boots with black tips. Her accessories consisted of fingerless black gloves, and she wore the emblem for the Orange Star High School on her shirt. After she began training with son Gohan, Videl cut her hair short when Gohan suggested that long hair would be detrimental in a fight. This cropped, spiky style would be her hairstyle for the remainder of the original series until the defeat of Majin Buu. To go with the new hairstyle, she donned a new ensemble to fit, a pink shirt, with a white t-shirt worn over, as well as the same bike shorts, boots, gloves, and socks from her previous attire. Abilities. Power and physical prowess. Videl is unique as far as fighters in the series go. Due to being a nascent user of ki, Videl's entire fighting style centers around physical strikes to the opponent. Videl's entire skill set is all self-taught, as she believed her father was far too strong to be a training partner. Due to this, Videl was unaware that she had already surpassed Mark in strength as a teenager. Because she'd been practicing martial arts for so long, ki came naturally to Videl once Gohan began to teach her how to draw it out, and within 10 days, she was able to successfully fly. In battle, Videl relies purely on physical techniques. A prodigy in martial arts, she is more than capable of handling fully grown men twice her size without much issue. With her small size, she is also fast, capable of avoiding blows with surprising ease and retaliating quickly. When fighting Spopovich, Videl showed her remarkable strength yet again, dominating the fight with Spopovich at first. With sheer physical strength, she snapped Spopovich's neck with a kick, though it was unintentional. Life cultivation techniques. Videl is a nascent user of ki, having been taught how to access her ki from Gohan. Her use of ki is limited, however, and Videl has only been seen using ki to perform the air dance technique. Videl's skill in flight, however, is limited. She cannot keep up with Gohan and Kibito when they fly at their fastest, and can only endure wind pressure in her eyes for so long. She is also capable of sensing ki. Biography. High school arc. Videl is introduced when she rushes to defend a bank from a robbery, and encounters son Gohan. She witnesses the damage he caused as a Super Saiyan, and inquires as to who did all of it, knowing it couldn't have been the cops. Frustrated, she wonders who the guy that did the damage was. One of the citizens tells her it was the Golden Warrior, a recurring superhero of sorts. Videl is surprised to hear it was him again, and even more surprised to find out he wears their school's badge. At school, Videl asks her friend Sharpener if he's the Golden Warrior. Sharpener denies it, saying he's too busy with club activities to be a superhero. Her friend Erasa suggests to her that the Golden Warrior might be stronger than Mr. Satan, though she's shot down. A new transfer student arrives, introducing himself as Gohan. Videl remembers him from earlier. When he seats himself next to them, she calls him on it. Videl is overly suspicious of Gohan, pointing out that the Golden Warrior is dressed identically to Gohan. Sharpener points out that it can't be Gohan, as Gohan has black hair. Mentally, Videl thinks that it should be impossible, but she remembers people in the videos of the Cell games transforming and their hair becoming blonde. When the school period turns to P, Videl tells Gohan to play outfield during their baseball game. She wins a pitch, but Sharpener knocks it out easily. However, she and the rest of the class are in for a shock when Gohan leaps several feet into the air to catch the ball. When Gohan is at bat, Sharpener pitches the ball and she tells him to watch out just before the ball hits him in the face. All of Gohan's behavior only serves to make Videl more suspicious. When Gohan heads home, Videl tries to follow, only to be completely thrown off when Gohan vanishes from her sight. Majin Buu Arc. Interlude. In her spare time, Videl helps the police and fights crime in Satan City. She becomes suspicious of Gohan after meeting him on his first day at Orange Star High School, and she even follows him for a brief time to learn more about him. Videl eventually discovers Gohan's secret identity as the Great Saiyaman. In the manga, she very easily tricks Gohan into revealing his identity after stopping some thugs. She asks the Great Saiyaman how he left class, and he answers her, revealing that he is actually Gohan. In the anime, she discovers that Gohan is the Great Saiyaman after she and Gohan are involved in an attempt to return Chobi, a baby pteranodon, to its rightful parents. In both cases, she deduces that Gohan is the son of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament winner, Goku, based on them carrying the same family name, and gets Gohan to participate in the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament and teach her how to fly using a blackmail type of threat. In a matter of days, Videl learns how to fly, and starts to develop a liking for Gohan. She even cuts her hair one day after he had suggested it, though she initially thought he just liked girls with short hair. He explained that long hair will only get in the way during a fight. There is an awkward moment when Chi-Chi asks Gohan whether he is going to marry Videl, which embarrasses him. As she becomes a great flyer, Gohan begins to think that Videl is really something special. Despite the relentless teasing from friends, such as Krillin, Videl and Gohan develop a sweet kind of relationship. Videl becomes very strong for a human, and enters the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament. When Videl first meets Goku and the other Z fighters, Gohan explains that his father is dead as he has a halo above his head. This is one of many supernatural things in the Dragon Ball universe that astonish more ordinary humans like Videl, but are second nature to the Z fighters. After waiting with Gohan for the punching machine, destroyed by Vegeta, to be replaced, Videl and the other high-scoring fighters draw their numbers for the first round. Videl goes up against Spopovich. Videl quickly gains the upper hand, even breaking Spopovich's neck, though he repairs it, shocking Videl and everyone else watching the match. Soon, the tables turn against her as Spopovich keeps getting back up after her attacks, without any visible damage. Videl then attempted to fly to the skies to recover, but to her horror, Spopovich could also fly and even use Ki to strike her back down. Videl starts to tire out, and Spopovich takes advantage by beating her to a pulp around the ring with a series of punches to the stomach and head. For his enjoyment, Spopovich steps on Videl's head. He pushes down on it until Videl is brought to tears. This fight was more drawn out and gruesome in the anime compared to the manga. Enraged by this display, Gohan loses control of his temper and transforms into a Super Saiyan. Seeing this, Yamu, Spopovich's partner, reminds his ally of their real reason for being there and tells him to end the match. Spopovich does so and kicks her out of the ring. Gohan carries her to the infirmary, where he returns later to heal her with a senzu bean brought by Goku. She thanks Gohan for it, though Mr. Satan freaks out, suspicious of the boy, insisting she be checked up for poisoning. She steps back to the arena to watch Gohan's match, and is surprised to see he is indeed the gold fighter she suspected him to be. When Gohan is in mortal danger from a ki drain from Yamu and Spopovich, she tries to save him, but is stopped only by being physically restrained by Goku. Upon Kibito healing and offering Gohan an explanation, Videl asks Gohan to let her go along, wanting to know what exactly is going on. She readily believes Gohan after he confesses he was both the mysterious gold fighter, Great Saiyaman, and also the golden-haired 11-year-old boy at the Cell Games 7 years ago. Having suspected that her father was not telling the truth, she comes to the correct conclusion that it was Gohan who beat Cell in the Cell games. She initially wants to come and help with the fight against the organization of Babidi, but is requested by Gohan to go back and tell everyone else the situation. She agrees to leave, then looks back and says, "You better come back, cause I'm not finished with you yet, Gohan." In Kai, she says that she'll miss him. She meets Goten and Trunks on her way to the World Tournament arena, and accidentally fuels them with adrenaline by telling them the story of Majin Buu, prompting the two to head for the battlefield. Videl goes with the rest of the group to look for the Dragon Balls. She later takes refuge with the group on Kami's lookout, where she hears about Gohan's supposed death at the hands of Majin Buu. She breaks down crying and confesses her love for him. While everyone presumes Gohan dead, she's the only one who is convinced that he still lives, somehow sensing that fact this is actually true. Gohan is in the sacred world of the Kai training hard with Kibito and Shin. A day later, Super Buu attacks the lookout looking for the fighter Goku promised him. Piccolo manages to persuade him to wait by telling him that Videl is Mr. Satan's daughter, later explaining to Videl that Mr. Satan nearly succeeded in convincing Buu to change his ways, only for his work to be undone by two bandits who shot at him and Majin Buu. Ultimately, when Gotenks fails to stop Buu, she, along with everyone else at the lookout, is murdered when Super Buu uses his rapid-fire transfiguration beam attack by turned into chocolate and eaten. In an anime-exclusive filler only, she ends up in heaven and searches for Gohan, along with Dabura, Chi-Chi and Bulma, but they cannot find him. However, even though she is dead, Videl is convinced that Gohan is still alive. This commitment to Gohan convinces the once evil Dabura that he is in the presence of true love, a feeling he never knew before, which embarrasses Videl since Chi-Chi is present. She does not know that Gohan passes away when Kid Buu annihilates Earth. After both she and Gohan come back to life and they meet again, Videl is happy at seeing the idiot again, saying that she has been worried sick about him. Videl is embarrassed by hearing her father getting the people of Earth to give energy so he could beat Buu. When Goku and the others return, she spots and happily greets her father Mr. Satan, who happily embraces her and brings new guests the Dog Bee and Good Buu, who Videl is shocked to see until her father explains he is now on their side. Later, she becomes Gohan's partner in fighting crime as the Great Saiyaman II, alternately known as Saiyawoman or Saiyagirl, sporting a similar outfit and participating in the same poses she earlier found ridiculous. Afterwards, Mr. Satan decides to let Gohan date Videl, since Gohan is clearly stronger than him and he owes him for taking the credit of defeating Cell. For a while, Videl fights criminals alongside Gohan as Saiyaman II, or Saiyawoman. Videl becomes closer with Gohan's family over time, and they see each other so much it seems like they are family, despite the fact that Gohan and Videl have not married. A few years after the Buu incident, Videl and Gohan finally get married, having one daughter together, and Mr. Satan helps build a house for them to live in. Dragon Ball Super. God and God Arc. Sometime after the 6 months period following the battle with Majin Buu, Videl accepts Gohan's proposal for marriage. Videl and Gohan later move into a house built by Videl's father to live together. On a Sunday, Videl and Gohan are leaving a bookstore and make their way towards the nearby bakery. At her home, Videl is visited by Goten and Trunks. The boys give Videl her gift, which is a bottle of water from a spring. Videl is pleased with her gift and thanks the boys for the present. Videl alongside Gohan are invited to Bulma's birthday party on a luxurious passenger ship. After Goku appears and summons Shinran, who quickly explains that the Super Saiyan God is not a person but a legendary transformation that only 6 kind-hearted Saiyan can achieve by fusing their power together. The Saiyan attempt to transform Goku but fail, as they are 1 Saiyan short. Growing tired of waiting, Beerus starts preparing his attack to destroy the planet. Suddenly, Videl jumps in front of the Saiyan. She says that there is one more Saiyan who might be able to help them, her and Gohan's unborn child. The Saiyan and Videl attempt the transformation again and manage to transform Goku into the Super Saiyan God. During their battle, Goku and Beerus create an ultra-high-density life force sphere and struggle to push it against each other. The ultra-high-density life force sphere begins to explode. Gohan flies out of Bulma's ship and goes to shield Videl from the explosion. However, the explosion does not destroy the Earth. Gohan asks Videl if she is alright, to which she replies that she is fine. Soon, the Dragon team begins sensing Goku's ki and realize that Goku is no longer a Super Saiyan God. Goten begins panicking. Videl comforts Goten and tells him that his father will be alright. After the battle with Beerus, at Gohan's house, Videl tries to make breakfast, but Gohan decides to prepare breakfast in her stead so that she doesn't strain herself or their child. Revival of F Arc. 6 months have passed since the battle between Goku and Beerus. During that time, Gohan and Videl's child has been born, a girl named Pan. At Gohan and Videl's house, Mr. Satan is playing with Pan. Pan tells her father that it is time for Pan's nap, but her father ignores her and continues playing with Pan. Gohan returns from a science conference and decides to spend time with Pan by fighting with Mr. Satan. Chi-Chi arrives to see Pan and scolds Gohan and Mr. Satan for putting Pan at risk with their fighting. However, Gohan tells his mother that Pan has Saiyan blood within her, but Chi-Chi still doesn't like the fact that they are showing her fighting, worried that Pan might become a fight-loving idiot like her grandfather Goku and wants her to grow up like a normal girl. However, Mr. Satan retorts, wanting Pan to become a great martial artist like him. Soon, Mr. Satan and Chi-Chi argue over Pan's future. After Gohan calms them down, Chi-Chi declares that she won't let Pan become a martial artist. Eventually, Chi-Chi and Videl lock themselves in a room with Pan after Gohan and Mr. Satan showed irresponsible behavior. In the locked room, Chi-Chi asks Videl about Pan's future and how she wants to raise her. Outside the locked room, Bulma decides to help out in exchange for her traffic fine being cancelled, but Kuririn refuses to cancel her fine. Bulma decides to help out regardless. After telling Chi-Chi that it's her, Bulma is taken into the room by Chi-Chi. Videl has a discussion with Bulma and Chi-Chi about Pan. Eventually, Videl decides that she wants Pan to grow up however she wants. Power. Manga and anime. Unlike other fighters, who have a balanced mix of physical and energy-based techniques, Videl uses only pure physical attacks. According to Gohan, she had already surpassed her father even before she began learning to use ki. Though she is capable of using basic ki blasts after Gohan trained her, she has little control over them. Her fighting style is to wait for her opponent to attack, and then use their own strength against them in a dodge or counter, playing on their momentum. Despite being powerful by human standards, and possessing some degree of enhanced strength relative to normal people, like her father, Videl has not trained to the degree of the Z warriors, and is not even near Krillin, Yamcha or Master Roshi's level, all three of whom are entirely human. As proof of this, Videl cannot tolerate high-speed flight, and a single bullet is capable of inflicting heavy damage, if not lethal, depending on the area shot. Abilities. Transformations and power-ups. Great Saiyawoman, also known as Great Saiyaman No. 2, Tugirito Saiyaman Tugo, is Videl's superhero alias. After Kid Buu's defeat, Videl began using a similar costume to fight criminals. Her very first appearance as the Great Saiyaman No. 2 is near the end of Dragon Ball Z, in the episode Celebrations with Majin Buu, where she and Gohan attempt to stop a robbery. Videl also appears as Great Saiyawoman in Wrath of the Dragon and in Dragon Ball GT. Great Saiyawoman doesn't appear in the manga. In Dragon Ball Fusions, Videl in her Great Saiyaman 2 persona acts as a separate incarnation of Videl due to the time-space rift's connection to various timelines. Super Saiyan. During the Super Saiyan God ritual in the Dragon Ball Super anime, Videl's hair turns gold whilst the ritual is underway, thanks to Pan's influence. In the Dragon Ball Super card game, Videl becomes classified as a Saiyan whilst in this form. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.